It's time for Vivid Talk, a coaching conversation to cultivate your visionary lifestyle. I'm your host, Gwen Witherspoon, Better Life Coach. We use my proprietary Vivid model for growth and development to get us started, but it's not a real conversation without you. So join in. Visit vividtalkradio.com for details. We've got a great show for you today. Glad you're here. Welcome to Vivid Talk. I'm Gwen Witherspoon. Today's episode is brought to you by Real Weight Loss and Wellness, and it's a prelude to the new season of Vivid Talk. New co-hosts, new focus, new episodes, all slated for this fall. But before we get started, let me tell you how you can join the conversation. Post your comments, share on social media, visit vividtalkradio.com to start a Coach on Call chat. We're going to be talking to Felicia Phillips, the founder of the Pinkpreneur Network, about a near-death experience, what she learned, and why she's on a mission to warn other entrepreneurs. But before we get to that, Felicia, I just wanted to welcome you to the show.
Thank you so much, Gwen, for having me on the show. I'm really excited about this conversation we're going to have.
First, I know you as a business owner and as the founder of the Pinkpreneur Network, but give listeners the rest of the story. How did you get to this point?
Wow, that's a loaded question, Gwen.
I knew it. But
remember, we got a time frame here. But
I know.
So how did
the quick version?
So how did I get to this point? I always
Yeah.
tell people that entrepreneurship is in my DNA.
Yeah.
I was raised with 5 uncles who were all entrepreneurs, including my father, who was an entrepreneur. But what I always said was my great-grandmother was my muse, because they were all men, and she was the first woman that I saw, one, in a leadership capacity in her community. She had multiple businesses. She owned land, real estate in the city, and she was the one who really took the time to talk to me about being a visionary and following your dreams, right, and how to manage money. And she didn't just talk about it. She actually invested in me when I was 16. I turned 16, and she said, "There's something special about you." She said, "I believe in you." And I remember she took me to the bank, and she put $500 in an account and opened a checking account for me. I will never forget that, because we all have to know that somebody believes in us.
Oh, come on now. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Somebody has to take a risk on us, and she did that. That gave me a push. And so when I left home at 17 to go to school here in Atlanta at Georgia State, it was funny. This is like the only jobs I've ever had in my life, right? So I'm working for this credit card company, and I'm going to school full time. I was working at that time at Hughes Spalding, and so I had two jobs, going to school full time. And I remember coming back to my apartment and thinking, I do not want to do this. I've never seen anybody in my family do this. I don't want to do this. I need to think of something. And so I had started doing some sales for a company, and the guy went out of business. But when he went out of business, I took the books that he had for that business, and that business was a medical equipment company. I was 18. By the time I was 19, I had started my own.
What does that mean? You took the books. What does that mean?
So he had all these books on the industry. And you know when we always say when you get tired of being sick and tired, and I was tired of being sick and tired, I said, I'm going to just do this. I was his top salesperson at the time. I took those books, I read them cover to cover, and I started my first business.
Wow.
And so I was 18, started that business. By 19, I was making 6 figures.
Wow.
With that business. And I have always worked for myself since that time. And now it's been 27 years that I have been in business, and I've never regretted a day of it. Has it all been great? Absolutely not. You know, I tell people you can quit every day. You can quit every day and wake up in the morning and start over.
Yeah, I love it.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, right? And that's the truth, because for most entrepreneurs, no 2 days are the same. And so every day you're learning, you're growing, you're becoming more of an expert at what your passion is and what you do best for others. And that vision begins to evolve. You meet new people, new doors open. And so you have to be in tune with the vision, which is why I love visionaries. Now, I'm clear about visionaries aren't always the people to carry the vision out. But when they have the vision, that's something special about that. When you are blessed to have vision and be granted a vision that is assigned specifically to you, there is something great in that, because that means that you have a talent or a gift that only you can make this vision come to fruition. What happens is that people have ideas, right? And so we have to learn the difference between a vision and an idea. Right?
That's a whole other show, girl.
That's a whole other show. And so for me, you know, what I realize is how you start isn't always how you finish. Because there is a journey in entrepreneurship. There's a journey in entrepreneurship. And so when I first started out, you know, success looked one way. And then as I became a wife and then a mother and then evolving from a young lady into a woman, there's a difference. And so success begins to look differently. I've been blessed to run multi-million-dollar businesses, to help other people achieve their business as a master business coach. And I am committed to the entrepreneur because I believe that, just like I said, when you're given that vision, you're given the talent to go along with it. Now, here's the thing. What I realize about me is I'm a vessel. So I'm here to help you along the way. And we all need that. We look at people who have achieved mass success, and if you look at their journey, they've always had someone who was an expert who could help them get to that next level. And I think so many people miss that in the age of the internet because we think I can Google it, I'll figure it out, but you end up costing yourself more money and taking a longer time to get there. And so I absolutely love what I do with working with women entrepreneurs and really helping them to build a solid foundation to build their business on and to have several and many years of success that leads them into a legacy.
Well, I love that. Now, this is the thing I have to say, that you are truly living that out in my life. I mean, I came to you as a stranger, not even as a client, and you have always opened your heart and your arms to me. And so I just can't even tell you enough about how grateful I am for that. And when I called and told you about the Vivid magazine and just different things that we were trying to do, you immediately said, look, I can't necessarily be directly involved in it, but I can certainly advise you. And I've trusted your advice and used it. And so I hope that pretty soon you're going to see the fruit of that advice you gave me. And just want to tell you how valuable that is to me. I wanted Dr. Jada to be on the conversation, especially when you told me about your health scare. So Jada, say hello.
Hello, Felicia. It is such an honor and a pleasure to be on this show with you today. And I've just heard such amazing things and watched and followed you and your story. It's just so inspiring. So I'm very grateful to be a part of this show this evening with you. It's a blessing.
Thank you, Dr. Jada. I'm excited about meeting you. I'm loving the movement that you ladies have started, and I'm in full support of it. And I'm glad that you're on the call tonight because I believe this message is one that affects very many people, men and women. And so I'm glad to share this platform with you. Thank you so much for having me.
Ladies, I titled tonight's episode, Are You Working Yourself to Death and How Your Vision Could Be Killing You? And I'm like the queen of positive, so this is out of step for me to have such a negative title, but I really wanted to draw people's attention, make them stop in their tracks and make them think, because I was in shock, Felicia, when I called you thinking that your post thanking everybody for their well wishes on Facebook was about you catching a bug on your way back from Mexico. It never would have occurred to me that I was going to hear the story that you shared with me. So can you tell us about what happened to you and
Sure.
and why you told me you had to start getting this message out?
Absolutely. And I'm going to say this first, Gwen. Don't feel like this is a negative, because this conversation is going to save someone's life.
Wow.
And that is a big positive. So what we want to do, so let's take that off the table, because let me tell you something. This right here, what we're doing, it is going to definitely start a movement. And it's so important. It's spiritually based. It's medically based. And so I'm going to just share a little bit. I share with you that I am the poster child for self-diagnosis, right? And I'll tell you that.
Yes, I do.
Let me be the first to say, Dr. Google, Dr. Google, full effect, right? And let me tell you how easily that happens, because as a woman and working with powerful women as clients, friends, we're always busy, right? Busy chasing success, and we tend to put our health on the back burner. Now, we'll take our kids, our husband, our mother, father, we'll go to the doctor with everybody else. But when it comes to us, no, let me just look it up. Let me do this. We got every excuse in the world because I don't have time to go to the doctor. But here's what we miss. What we miss is the fact that we are probably going to misdiagnose ourselves, that we're going to stress ourselves out based on what we read, and that it's probably less expensive just to make that appointment with the doctor and go. And so for many years, I missed all of that. I missed all of that.
Preach.
Okay? Missed all of that. And so what happened was, just like many African-American women, I was told shortly after the birth of my daughter in 1997, I was told that I had fibroids. Now, my mother had fibroids. I knew other women and friends who had fibroids. So it's just like something you say, I got fibroids, right? And
yeah, exactly.
Right? And so you deal with it, right? That's all I ever knew. You kind of deal with it. But here's the thing. You're basically putting your whole life, like how you schedule, how you do things, around this thing. And what wasn't said, it's always like, well, if it's not really bothering you, you can deal with it. You don't have to have surgery. I can remember a doctor telling me that. Well, but here's what I didn't understand. So I've been dealing with this for a couple decades. It was the heavy bleeding and what it was doing to my body that I was unaware of. And so I'm getting symptoms, but I'm not really paying them any attention because I'm not equating them to the fibroids, right? So I'm cold all the time. I'm getting headaches. I'm fatigued, in pain. I'm still not, I'm like, well, maybe I got a toothache or this or, let me Google this, right, Dr. Google. And so I'm self-medicating, and the truth of the matter was that I was dying on the inside. I was dying a slow death and did not know it until it was too late. And I fast forward over the last, I would say, year, it's been extreme. It was extremely bad with the heavy bleeding. And so my body, unbeknownst to me, had gone into severe anemia. I would say like nine months. And so I go speak at a conference. Looking good, right? Because you know how we do as women. We may not be feeling good, but when we show up, we look good, right? And so we play the role, right?
That's another show.
Yeah. It is. It's going to be a lot of shows out of this one, believe me. And so, you pop a few migraine pills and you hit the stage and you do your thing, and whatever you medicate yourself with over the counter, you do it and you get through the day. Well, that Friday I had done that. I wasn't feeling well, had taken some medicine, got through the day. I started what I thought was my cycle. I was actually hemorrhaging and did not know it. And this is a little graphic for your audience, but I need to say this because people need to understand. You think 2 days is nothing, right? It's the weekend. I'm saying to my husband, this is a little heavier than normal. Monday, I'm going to go to the doctor. fast forward, Monday comes around. By this time, I didn't realize as I was taking care of myself over the weekend, but I had gone through 45 overnight pads.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh.
Okay?
Wow.
I got out of the bed. I walked in. I took 2 steps, and everything that was inside of me fell on the floor, basically.
Wow.
I panicked, so my assumption is that my adrenaline just started flowing because I was feeling really weak. My head was hurting. I could hear my heart in my head, which I later found out was because of the fact that my heart wasn't getting the blood. My body, it was no blood really there. So I panicked. I did get everything cleaned up. My son was home. I didn't want him to see that. And I walked back. I said, I'm going to get in the shower. And as soon as I got in the shower, my body went crazy, and I blacked out and hit the floor. I remember on that floor of that shower, all I could say was, I do not want to die here.
Wow.
And I'm talking to myself. I'm thinking I'm talking out loud, but it's all in my head. Felicia, get up. Get up. I ain't moving, though. And I remember I asked God, don't let me die here. And I mustered up enough energy to kick the shower door open because my son couldn't hear me. And I thought I was calling out to him and later realized I really wasn't. And I crawled out of the shower, and I did call out to him, and he found me and got me together and got me to the hospital. He called my husband.
Now, let me jump in here. So, Dr. Jada, so what was going on? What do you hear when you hear her telling this story?
Yeah, when I hear this, first of all, I just see it. I'm visualizing that weekend of how Felicia is just saying one more day, one more hour, one more pad. It'll stop after one. Let me just give it a few more minutes, and we're just extending and extending and extending. And to the body says, you know what? I've given you some hints. I'm gonna have to let you know I'm serious. Yeah. And essentially, what's happening is that you're literally bleeding out, and that severe anemia will eventually cause the body to go into shock. And you were just steps away from what it sounds like a cardiogenic shock, which is, something that's very, very serious and very often is fatal. So
that's exactly right.
Yeah, when your blood count gets so low, first of all, the body's response is going to be, when you felt that coldness and fatigue, the body is going to try to take care of the major organs that have to have the blood supply and the oxygen and the nutrients to keep your body going. That's what the priorities are. So it's going to take it away from your fingers and your toes and your skin and all those things. And that has been what was building up over time. But when it does not have enough to circulate to those major organs, like it's circulating through your heart, to your brain, to your kidneys, to your liver, those major organs that keep your body functioning, then it begins to go into a shock, and it's going to take the least important one by one, and then it gets to the most important one last, very low reserve.
Wow. I wanted you to talk about that too, because I suffered with fibroids, I think, for at least a decade. I'm guessing. Before I had an incident where I suddenly was sent to a hospital for a blood transfusion, but I didn't have one. But that let me know that I needed to have a hysterectomy, and I chose to go ahead and do that and change my life. Like, that's the best decision I've ever made. But I think what's really interesting to me here is what you said, Felicia, about the fact that you had this diagnosis for decades. And I just think about how they're walking around knowing that we have these situations, but not really understanding the depth of them. Like, I was anemic forever. I mean, that was like the joke. Like, I chewed ice like a fiend. And I found it interesting that when those tumors were gone, I had no interest in ice at all. And I had no idea that was a sign. Like, it was almost like I was told by doctors and nurse practitioners that I was anemic, it was like very matter of fact. Nobody ever explained what that meant, so I didn't even know how to ask questions and dig in and learn more, So it's just really interesting that we're walking around, we're used to it. It has become common, But go ahead, tell us what happened after your son found you.
So what ended up happening is I got to the ER, and I'm walking real slow, but I actually walked in. Wow. And once I checked in and they realized what was going on, they immediately put me in a wheelchair. And my palms were snow white, the insides of my eyes, everything was snow white. And I remember this doctor, another African-American woman, she came and sat next to me. I was laying on the bed, and she said to me, your hemoglobin is a 3.
Oh, my God.
She said, I don't even know how you walked in here and why you're still conscious and talking to me right now. My platelet count was 8.
What's it supposed to be, Dr. Jada?
Wow. First of all, her hemoglobin really should be closer to 12 to 15.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So, and her platelet count should be no less than 150. And it could go even to the range is 150,000 to 450,000. So when you say 8, you're down to 8,000.
That's right. So here's what happened. But God, I'm still conscious, and I'm talking. And she said, if we don't transfuse you right now, you're going to die, basically. Mm-hmm. And so I had to have an emergency blood transfusion and an emergency platelet transfusion. But I want to say this because you got to be in that moment, you hear blood transfusion, right? Mm-hmm. And when you're a woman that's used to being in control, let me say this because this is so crazy. Here I go on death's bed. Can I call my brother and sister so they can bring me some? I want the blood from them. I want their blood. She said, you want to decide no, I don't think you get right. Wow. You don't get what we got right here, so we can save your life. Yeah. And I stayed in ICU for a week, and let me tell you something. If I never heard the Holy Spirit, if I never knew what God had, He set me right on top of my purpose.
Come on, babe. Wow.
And He made me sit there. He made me sit there and think about it. Mm-hmm. Because what He said was, I'm entrusting you with a vision.
Mm. Oh, now
but I can't even communicate with you because your temple is sick and I cannot live in it.
Speak, Felicia.
Wow. Girl. Mm.
I think what we miss as visionaries and leaders is we miss where the vision came from.
Come on.
We miss that in order for you to get to the level of success, when the scripture says, I have a plan for you, like I already know what I have for you. But here's the deal. You have to take care of yourself.
You do?
Because I am your GPS. I am your communication device. I am everything that you need. You want to meet somebody? You need an open door? Guess what? I can give you all that. I can talk to you, but I need your temple to be in order.
Wow.
So since you couldn't understand that, I'm going to sit you here. And we're going to get this body in order because now I think you hear me.
Wow.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is I don't want any other woman that is hearing this conversation. If you're sick, if you've been self-diagnosing and medicating, sister, you need to go now. You need to make an appointment. You need to get yourself together because this is not a game.
That's it. That's it.
This is not a game.
And you get one temple.
You only get one temple, and there are too many of us dying still young.
Yeah. Wow.
And
Unnecessarily.
your vision has not been brought to completion or fruition.
That's exactly right.
And
That's
and
exactly right.
that is the saddening, even more saddening part of it. So I think, Gwen, you started by saying that this topic was dismal and negative, but I think this topic is spot on. And Felicia's testimony, that's what we'll call it now, is a really shining example of that. And so if it's killing you, it's killing your vision. You know?
Come on. Yeah.
Yes.
If you're working yourself to death, is your vision killing you? But your vision is being killed. And when you're just hearing you, Felicia, talk about the Holy Spirit reminding you that your purpose has already been designed and assigned, and you've got to be available physically, mentally, emotionally. You've got to be present for it to happen. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we return, continue this conversation with Felicia Phillips of the Pinkpreneur Network.
Sorry I'm late, but I was coming from a doctor's appointment.
What doctor? Are you okay?
Oh, yeah, just Real Weight Loss and Wellness. It's a new medical weight loss practice.
I was just about to say, I've never seen you look better. What's the secret?
It's real. My best friend turned me on to it. She was concerned after I really packed on the pounds when Mom passed.
Please tell me you are not on one of those fad diets.
Nah, in fact, Real Weight Loss and Wellness creates personalized programs with step-by-step guidance from a medical doctor. Dr. Jada takes the guesswork out, makes it simple, and I learned that losing weight doesn't have to be hard. And no excuses. I can even do my appointments virtually.
Well, you might be inspiring your big brother to do something about this dad bod.
Listen, safe, affordable weight loss is Dr. Jada's specialty. I've done so well that I'm about to schedule free consultations for my husband and my teenager.
What's the number? I better schedule mine, too.
404-464-8749.
Wait, slow down.
Just visit the website, startwithreal.com.
Welcome back to Vivid Talks. I'm Dr. Jada Moore-Ruffin, and I'm here with my co-host, Gwen Witherspoon, and our guest, Felicia Phillips.
In that bed, I had to make a decision.
Yeah.
What I was clear about was the decision that I made there would affect the rest of my life, and it would definitely affect the vision that God had given me, because now he's saying, okay, can I trust you? The word says that in 6 days, God created heaven and earth, and on the seventh day, he rested. But what I would want to encourage your listeners to do is to shut everything off. You need to have a day where you just completely unplug. That day that you choose to be your day of rest. You need to completely unplug. So much can be revealed to you. But if you do not take the time to be still, you will never hear the promise. You will never hear the next step. You will never understand where the open door is coming from, because you're distracted by the trappings of the world.
Yeah.
That's it.
Tell us about your next project before we go.
So MoguLCon is the annual conference that we produce in the Pinkpreneur Network. And what we do is we take women-owned businesses and we cultivate them and really prepare you in the fourth quarter for what you're going to do for the rest of the year. The site is MoguLCon.com, and people will be able to go on for early registration August 1st.
Thank you so much. Dr. Jada, thank you. Felicia, thank you. Thanks for listening to Vivid Talk Radio, a coaching conversation for visionaries. A special thanks to our sponsor, Real Weight Loss and Wellness. Visit vividtalkradio.com and read our blog on today's topic. Join the conversation by speaking your mind, posting your comments, sharing in social media, and tagging @VividBrands. You've been listening to Vivid Talk Radio with Gwen Witherspoon. Join us each Wednesday at 5 p.m. and get vision for every area of life. Visit vividtalkradio.com for more. Until next time, make it vivid.